Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight, the show that is the sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink. Well, another report tonight from the American higher education arena in the Trump era. Tony Macula is a longtime math professor from the State University of New York at Geneseo. Shortly after the election, Professor Macula sent a mass email to about 600 of his colleagues, but addressed to unnamed Trump supporters. It began this way, quote, "So you voted for a candidate who embodies the white power movement and was enthusiastically endorsed by the Ku Klux Klan, neo-Nazis, and other white supremacy groups. I think it's perfectly reasonable to ask you the following questions. 1, do you believe in white power and the supremacy of the white race? 2, do you believe that a multi-ethnic and multicultural democracy can succeed? Yes or no? I will respond accordingly." Well, joining me now to expand on what he meant by all that is Professor Tony Macula. Professor, thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. The letter didn't start like that. The letter ended like that.
Okay. Well, that was in the letter. Then my apologies, but that to me that was the sort of meat of it. And let me ask you this:
No.
I watched the campaign
actually, the meat of it was the concept of civic responsibility.
Okay. Well, I'll ask you about that in just a minute. Let me get to your allegation that Trump embodies white supremacy and white power. I watched the campaign pretty closely. I never heard Trump say anything about white power or even allude to white power. I'm not sure I know what white power is. What did you mean when you wrote that?
Well, let me give you again the beginning of the letter, and then I can expound on that after that. So the reason why I wrote the letter is that silence in the face of civic irresponsibility is civically irresponsible. And I think casting a vote for a candidate who doesn't embody the ideals of the preamble of the Constitution, nor exhibits the values required of honesty, tolerance, equal protection, and respect, those values that are required to sustain those ideals, in my opinion, casting such a vote is civically irresponsible.
So you believe it's irresponsible to cast a vote for someone you disagree with, is what you're saying. Why can't it just be wrong? Why can't you just disagree? Why does it have to be irresponsible for someone to disagree with you?
It's irresponsible because we are charged to support the values of our Constitution. And one of the values, or one of the main points in the preamble is domestic tranquility. And that's the point where we get to white power.
Okay.
So, I mean, Donald Trump has retweeted white supremacist over 75 times. He's had opportunities to come right out and refute the support he's been given. He was just in North Carolina, and 2 days before he was in North Carolina, the KKK had a parade in his honor, and he said nothing about it. He hasn't taken opportunities.
Okay, I get it. So you're saying that bad people support him, and he hasn't disavowed them. That we used to call that McCarthyism, the idea that people were responsible for the endorsement of others or the physical proximity to others. I mean, if Kim Jong-un came out and endorsed you, you wouldn't be responsible for his regime, would you? If some campus shooter took your class, you wouldn't be responsible for the murders. That's an unfair standard, isn't it? Shouldn't we judge people by what they say? I mean, he had a year talking in public. Did he say anything to endorse white power, or didn't he?
Yes, he did endorse white power. I mean, he's essentially by deporting, by his building the wall, this is what really emboldened the white power movement and realized that Donald Trump was their embodiment. They got excited when he decided to label all Mexicans as rapists and said he was going to build a wall. That's when they really felt like they had a champion.
Now, you're a math professor, so presumably you deal in logic and linear thought, one leading to the next. You're saying that building a wall is prima facie evidence of white supremacy? Is that what you're saying? I just want to make sure I understand you.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it's just one thing.
So I'm asking you, look, you say that he embodies the values of white power. You're holding him responsible for the views of people he has disavowed and hasn't supported. And I'm asking you, can you name anything he has said that endorses the concept of white power? And you can't, can you?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay.
He retweeted a quote by retweeted a tweet by a guy by the name of White Genocide TM, and this tweet irresponsibly said that white murders were 81% of white murders were committed by African Americans. It's a complete falsehood, and Trump retweeted it. The correct percentage
so getting a crime stat
is
wrong,
14%.
Or retweeting some creepy guy. And by the way, I don't think he should be tweeting in the first place. I'm not defending the guy's tweeting. I'm just saying retweeting a crime stat that's wrong is evidence of white supremacy. I mean, that's not a real argument, Professor.
I didn't call Trump a white supremacist. I said that he embodies their movement.
Okay.
That's what I said, and he does. And they actually claim him as their leader.
Right. Okay. I get it. So I just want to know, and this is a subject of fascination for me. You live in the university world. Presumably you have tenure. You've been there over 20 years. You get a guaranteed income, and you live in this little world. What would happen if
Hold on a second. One second.
No. Let me finish my question. What would happen if one of your colleagues sent out a mass email calling Black Lives Matter racist? They've actually excluded non-whites from their meetings. Trump has never excluded people who aren't white from his. They've excluded non-blacks, rather. And if someone said they're racist, do you think the university would really kind of stand back and say that's free speech? Or would there be consequences from the employer? There would be, wouldn't there?
I never called anyone a racist. I didn't make any assertions. No, I didn't make. Don't you know the difference between an assertion and a question?
No, I know what a weaselly inference is, and if you say the guy's responsible for the ugly views of people who support him, even though he's never articulated that views, you're inferring that he believes them. You say he's, quote, the embodiment of white power. You're calling him a bigot. Don't pretend, just say it out loud. Be a man about it. You saying he's a bigot, that's fine. I'm asking you to back it up.
I am, and I did back it up, okay? And I did back it up.
He retweeted some phony crime statistic? I mean, that's white power 2016? Are you serious? I mean, look, you don't have to like Trump. I'm not saying he should. He's done many other things other than just retweet things. Okay, well, I just gave you 7 minutes, and you haven't told me what they are. So, unfortunately, we're out of time. I wanted you to come forward and put some data behind this accusation that I'm hearing every single day, but you couldn't. So maybe I'll get another professor who's done his homework. Thanks a lot, Professor. Good to see you.